Hello everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. Yes, we are still down in the kitchen because I figured while I still have the setup down here and I still have the runway plates down here, we might as well take a look at something else that I picked up. And I didn't actually pick this up. This was a gift for me for my birthday. This is the Target exclusive Spin Master Batwing. And a lot of people have been picking this up to go along with like the Keaton Batman and the Keaton Batmobile that is coming out from McFarlane Toys, and is using this as kind of like an alternative to the McFarlane Toys Batwing. That is a very nice product. I am not going to lie. It looks good. It's big. It's probably scaled more proportionally to the figures than this one is going to be. But with that price tag, I don't know. It wasn't something that really caught me enough to make me say, yeah, I want to spend that much money on something like that. And I know that might sound a little crazy considering I just spent, what, $230 on the Sky Striker that we took a look at. But the thing for me with the Batwing, this style Batwing from the Flash movie, is that we're getting a Keaton Batman. This is the 12-inch figure that comes with the Batwing. We'll take a look at that too. But from McFarlane Toys, we're getting the 7-inch Keaton Batman that looks very much like the Batman 89 costume or Batman Returns costume. We're also getting the Batman 89 Batmobile. And if this Batwing was designed in the style of the 1989 movie, I might have given in and bought the McFarlane Batwing. But for me, this is just going to be another prop that sits on the shelf so that I have a Batmobile, a Batman, and a Batwing. It's not the 89 Batwing. And that's not me saying, oh, the 89 is the only good one. This one isn't that great. No, I do kind of dig the design of this one. But if I was going for an all 89 sort of retro collection, that is a very distinct Batwing. I love that Batwing. That was actually the only toy I remember having from the Kenner line when it came out in '89 was the Batwing, not the Batmobile, not any of the Batmen. I just had the Batwing, and I used it for my Joes. As a matter of fact, I think it was the fighter that Hard Deck flew, my character, my figure, flew after the Sky Striker. I just really liked the design of that. This isn't bad, but it's not the 89, so I didn't feel the need to pay the McFarlane price tag for that one. This one, however, is smaller than the McFarlane one. I think the McFarlane one is in the neighborhood of, I don't know, 36 inches, maybe. This is 27 inches, so this is maybe about 9 inches narrower than the McFarlane one. I can't remember what the exact size of it is. The cockpit opens completely. It's made to take a 12-inch figure. So I've seen some other reviews. I wanted to see this for myself. I wanted to get this for myself. So I'm very curious to see for myself how this is going to work with the 7-inch figures. So on the front, we have the Flash logo, which it's funny. It's a Flash movie, but it's almost like, you know, Batman 89 Mania all over again. We get a 12-inch figure of the Keaton Batman. We get the Batwing itself. There's a nice image down here. Let's bring that up a little closer. There's a nice image right there of how he fits into the Batwing. On the back, we have just like more product shots of the figure. I'm curious to see if that's a cloth cape. And we have an overview, a top-side view of the Batwing itself, which, once again, this is not a bad design. It's just, I don't know, like, I really liked how the 89 was more rounded, looked like that classic logo. Not that this one doesn't, it's just, this doesn't grab me as much as that Burton Gothic look did. But I still think it's a nice design. So, with that out of the way, this is a really big box. I was surprised at how big this was. Like, we got nothing on the bottom. We got the Flash logo on the top and on the sides, Flash logo, and on this side, upside down DC logo. There we go, DC logo. So, without further ado, let's get this big box open and let's take a look at Spin Master's The Flash Batwing. Okay, first we're going to take a quick look at our 12-inch Batman figure, our Keaton Batman from the Flash movie, and putting the tape measure to him, we can see that he isn't quite 12 inches tall. He's actually about 11 3/4 to the top of his bat ears. Taking a closer look at him, admittedly there's not much to him as far as articulation goes, but I have to admit, he looks better than what I was expecting. The Keaton sculpt, the face sculpt here, isn't bad. It's actually pretty good. As a matter of fact, in my opinion, so far, it looks better than the McFarlane sculpt. Of course, we've only seen photos of that. When we get the figures in hand, it may be completely different. But I think the jawline, the lips, all of this lower face is a really good likeness. It's the paint apps that are kind of blotchy, kind of just thrown on there. But this really wasn't meant to be like a collector series figure. As a matter of fact, I think these figures, these 12-inch figures on their own, I think they still only go for about $10. They're a very light plastic. They feel hollow, to be honest. But the ears don't bend, but they don't feel like they're going to break either. I do like the look of the suit, the cut of this suit. This is very much in the vein of like Batman Returns, that one, where it was more scalloped instead of having the fake abs in there. I like the detail on the utility belt. As a matter of fact, I keep thinking that either I'm going to get a second Batman figure so that I have one the way it should be and then customize one. And when I say customize one, I mean just paint this belt yellow to match the symbol, or I'm just going to paint the belts to belt yellow to match the symbol anyway on the one that I get. Either way, I think they did a really decent job with the sculpt work, the molding on the body of this figure, of this 12-inch figure right here. Even have some detail right there on the top of the boots that I really like. Now, as far as the articulation goes, his head won't do a full 360. That's about as far as it'll go, but it'll do that to either side. There's no up and down. There's no tilt side to side. The arms will do a full 360 spin. You can get them there, not even to 90. The elbows are single jointed and they will come to 90, and they're hinge and swivel elbows. The wrists will pivot. Well, the wrists will swivel, but there's no pivot in and out or up and down. The legs will come forward that much. Back, not so much. Out to the side perfectly, and they'll also turn at that right angle. Single jointed knees come up to 90. No hinge and swivel at the knee. Nothing in the ankles. Your only points of articulation are right here in the hips and in the knees for the legs. The cape, as you can see, is cloth goods, and I have to admit, I'm a fan of this cape. It's heavy. You can't see through it. It lays very well. You can even see that you can sort of fold it back over where the cowl is, so it can come off of his shoulders, or it can sort of lay forward on his shoulders. I really do like this cape. I think they did a really good job with the cape. Kind of surprised at how good it is. And he stands really well on his own. I find it interesting that they did give him a pair of gripping hands, but he doesn't have any accessories, and there's no controls in the Batwing for him to hold on to. I'm guessing they just give all of their 12-inch figures gripping hands because Wonder Woman had them too, and she didn't come with any accessories either. So I'm guessing maybe if you have something that he can hold, he just has that option. And now for a quick size comparison, here he is beside the only other 12-inch Spin Master figure that I have, Wonder Woman. And here he is beside McFarlane Toys, DC Multiverse, Arkham City Wave, Catwoman, and Batman. Okay, so as you can see, there is some assembly required, and basically we have our main body, and then we have the wings. And you can also see that the McFarlane one looks like it's more of a gray or like a gunmetal gray where it's been weathered. And this is definitely all black right here. So the body and the wings, you can see there are spaces, there are slots on the side here where the wings look like they'll just, Yep, they'll just snap in, and once they're in there, they're in there. They're not coming back out, which is good. Let me get this one. Okay, that one didn't click as loud as the first one did, but it's... Whoops. There. Okay, there we go. There we go. Oi. Okay, don't pull on them too hard. Or is it because I'm moving them? I don't know. There we go. All right. And there she is put together. Okay, here's our bird, or rather our bat, out of the box. And you can see that this is, and you probably noticed when I was putting it together, that this is a pretty big piece right here. So putting the tape measure to it, we can see that from the wing to wing, the wingspan is 27 inches as advertised. From the tail to the tip of the bat wings, or to the tip of the bat ears right here, we're at approximately 21 and a half, maybe 22 inches. And then from the ground to the top of the tail stabilizer, we're at approximately 6.5 inches. So this takes up a pretty sizable piece of your shelf. And I do have to say that even though I said before that this isn't the 89 Batwing for me, I do think the more I look at this, after I have it out of the box, the more I've been handling this, I do think this looks like the live action version of the Batman the Animated Series Batwing, especially here in the nose. And I don't know, there's just something about it that, like, it looks like Batman the Animated Series to me. Now, there are no paint apps on this. This is completely molded in black plastic. We have some decent detail work down here on the wings. These hatches that I think the idea is that these pop up and some machine guns pop up from underneath here. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see the movie. This is not painted. On the box, it looks like it's painted, but this is not painted. This is the canopy, and this is all a completely smoked piece of translucent gray plastic. On the bottom here, let's flip this over. On the bottom, not a whole lot of detail in the wings. They're just hollow pieces of plastic right here. But you can see here in the body, we have the VTOL turbines for the vertical takeoff and landing. The wheels just snap in and out of place. There's no switch, but they do have a very satisfying lock whenever you pop them up and they lock into position, or whenever you slap them down and they lock into position. The wheels do not roll, though. These are static wheels. They're just molded pieces of plastic. But it does give the Batwing something to sit on, gives it some height. Now, inside, there's not a whole lot going on. Hold on, let me reposition the camera and we'll take a look. Okay, now getting a better look at this, you can see that this entire piece is the canopy, and unfortunately it does not stay up on its own. It doesn't lean back far enough. Maybe shave that out a little bit more. I don't know, but it just doesn't... Yeah, it doesn't even like snap back any. But you can see on the inside, there's not a whole lot going on in here. This is the only thing we have that even resembles something that looks like a control panel. But you can see that there's contours to the inside. Because when we take, let me just set this down. When we take our 12-inch Batman figure here, we just open this up, and he really just lays down in there. He has a little bit of, like, the first rise comes up around his knees. His head just rests in a reclined position. And I think they did that just so that he's not basically just laying down flat. But then you close, oh man, let me bring it forward a little bit. Then you close the canopy down, and you can see he just lays in there like in a coffin, like a coffin case right here. That's about it. And it's kind of a tight fit that, like, his face doesn't really fit that well. There you go. And there you have it. That is how he fits in there. So it works for what they're trying to do. It works for this figure, and I appreciate that they are bringing out vehicles for a line that is so big it has no right having vehicles for. If you have the Spin Master Batmobile, the blue one or the black one, it's pretty much the same thing. How the top of the Batmobile flipped open, Batman just slid in there, and then you closed it. I appreciate it for what it is. Let's just put it that way. Now, the question that I'm sure most of us have is, how do the 7-inch figures work with the Batwing? Well, we'll take a look at scale in a second, but there's a few things about this that I wanted to talk about first. I've seen a couple of times, let's move you, Bruce. I've seen a couple of times that when people have been trying to use this for the McFarlane figures, that, let's flip this over for a second. If you look at this, the bottom shell of the body is just held in by screws. So I've seen people take out these screws, lift this bottom casing off, pull this bottom casing off, and then what they do is, right here, they'll Dremel out the hull. They'll Dremel out the body so that a 7-inch figure's legs can fit into it, and you get him in a little bit tighter, a little bit closer to the front, and that should put him right about where this begins to dip. He should be settling in right there, where that begins to dip in. Okay, something like that. Because as it is now, he comes back about yo far. And we can put his arms back to try and support him so that he has a little bit, so he pops up a little bit. And then it comes down, and you can see, let's turn this. You can see that now, without modification, he's about halfway in there. And he's not completely lying down, but he's not sitting up as much as I would like either. But I was really thinking of sort of going like Point Dread and Talon Fighter with this thing. Dremeling this out so that the legs fit in there. And then right here at this first hump, right here, this first bump, where the 12-inch figure's knees would be, taking like another piece of plastic and gluing it in there just so that it comes up in an angle, just for a little bit of support. Because then you could also take another figure, like say Bruce is right there. You put Selena or whoever, sort of wrap legs around the Batman figure like that. And then you can have a second passenger in there. Just get like another piece of plastic to glue in there or something just for some support. And then you can like use this to store accessories or something. And it's not the best. Like it's not going to give you like a fully upright sitting position, but I feel like for what it is and for modifying it and trying to use it for something that it's really not, we could really make use of that. Because right here, like that's not horrible. This really isn't horrible right here, but I feel like if you Dremel out the front and you move the figure forward a little bit, and then you can move the secondary forward a little bit, it'll put them more towards where the canopy rises instead of back here where it's starting to come down. So standing a McFarlane figure next to the Batwing, I don't think it's a bad scale. I really don't. I mean, obviously it's not going to be like a 1-to-1 scale replica, probably not, at least from what we get in the movie. But for what it is, for sitting on the shelf, for putting next to Batman, and once the Batmobile gets here, next to the Batmobile, and we will take a look at that once the Batmobile arrives, I think it looks good. I really do. I think this is what a lot of people are buying it for. A lot of collectors are buying it for. This is a good alternative to McFarlane's big Batwing, because even if you're not put off by the price, which I know a lot of people were, but even if you're not put off by the price, there is still the issue that it takes up a lot of real estate. And I understand you can hang it on the wall, and that is really cool. But for some people, that's not a realistic option either. So if you're looking at this for an alternative Batwing for your 89, for your Flash collection, I think this will do a good job for you. And that is not to say that I have a problem with the McFarlane Batwing. I really don't. If you like that, if you want that, if you bought that, more power to you. I hope it brings you joy. I really do. But for me, for what it is, it's just not for me. But this will do me. This will satisfy my needs, and I really, really dig how this looks. And I think with those modifications, I think they'll get some good use out of this. And once I do modify it, I might do another video, or at least a short, and just show you how this works that way. So here we go. Spin Master Batwing, Target exclusive. I think it's like $40. I think you get a great package right here. I actually even started to like this 12-inch Batman figure more than I thought I was going to. Yeah, he's hollow. Yeah, he has limited articulation. Yes, he is what he is. He's a $10 12-inch figure for the kids to go with their DC line. I forget what they call their 12-inch line, but he would probably look great with the rest of the 12-inch figures. And this, basically the star of the set, as we saw, I think it's going to work really good with the 7-inch figures. Also, the more I was playing around with this, it's not super heavy, but there's definitely some weight to it. I liked playing around with it. It had a good feel, a good solid feel when I was holding on to it. Yes, it is hollow plastic, but most things this size are going to be hollow plastic anyway. There are no play features to it. There's no claws. There's no launching missiles. Like I kept saying, this is what it is. And if you want some weathering and you're good at painting, there is a huge canvas on here if you want to paint it up. I even honestly considered getting a second one and painting it blue and putting some yellow bat symbols on it for whenever the Rebirth Batman gets here. But also, truthfully, having this, as much as I like this, I'm weird in that I like Batman with a helicopter more than I do with this Batwing jet. I get why this is the more popular version. This is the more popular air vehicle for him. I totally get that. But realistically, in a city like Gotham, a helicopter is going to do him better, like a modified Huey or a Hind or something. But if you got this, if you're using this for what we're talking about, using it for your 7-inch McFarlane figures, for your Multiverse figures, let me know what you think about it. If you've modified this at all, let me know how that worked out for you, because I know that cutting out the some leg room up here, I know that is quickly becoming a common modification for this Batwing to get the figures to sit in here to line up a little bit better. But let me know what you think, if you have modified it at all. I do like this. The more, like I said, the more I've had my hands on it, the more I like it. Even this guy, the more I've played around with him, the more I've liked having this 12-inch figure. And it's just going to be cool to have him standing on the shelf behind all the 7-inch things just as a display piece. So I thought that was kind of neat. If you do plan on buying this, keep checking Target's website. This has been very popular with collectors, and it has been going in and out of being available. So if you're looking at the website, if you're looking online, if you're looking on the app, and it says sold out or not available, keep going back and keep checking, because I think I had to check back like 3 or 4 times that it was either in stock or out of stock, in stock, out of stock. So this isn't something that once it sells out, they're completely out. It seems like Spin Master knows they have something popular on their hands. They've been replenishing it, and I think Spin Master is getting a little bit of a cash cow out of this thing, and who knows, maybe that means we'll have more Batman vehicles coming down the line. That would be cool. The Batman skiff from Batman Returns would be really cool. That would be really cool. But I digress. I hope you enjoyed this. If you do get your hands on this, I hope you enjoy it. If you bought the McFarlane one, I really hope you enjoy that one as well. So play well, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.